So these last set of notes for the unit are going to be on the quadratic formula. This is going to be the last way we're going to show you how you find the solutions of a quadratic function. And basically you use the method of substitution. So my formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. The part that is inside my quadratic formula is called a discriminant. It's the b squared minus 4ac. This tells us the type of solutions. So before you even solve the quadratic formula, just by using the discriminant, you can find out how many solutions. So if the discriminant turns out to be positive, so any positive number, if the discriminant is 5, 7, 3, that means you're going to have 2 solutions. If the discriminant is negative, that means you're going to have non-real solutions. And we're going to go over that in a minute. They're going to be imaginary solutions. If your discriminant is 0, you're going to have 1 solution. So I'm just going to randomly pick a quadratic formula. Function, sorry. So if I use this equation, and first thing I want to do, right, is I want to take my discriminant because I want to know what type of solutions I have, right? So say the question is asking you about the type of solutions. Because positive solutions means that realistically, if it's a word problem, it's going to hit that x-intercept, right, twice. If it's a real world problem, if you get negative solutions, that means it never hits the x-intercept, right? And then 0 means it only has 1 intercept, 1 solution, so that means it hits it once. So if I take my discriminant, first I have to figure out what my a, my b, and my c are. So here's my a, x squared plus bx plus c. That's always, right? So I'm going to have negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times a times c. Oh, that's not right. The discriminant is just the inside, sorry. So my discriminant is going to be 6 squared minus 4 times a times c. So then I have 36 minus 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 5 is 40. So then my discriminant is going to be negative 4, right? Which is negative. So no real solutions. So if this was a problem where, like the skateboard, right? And when it touched the x-intercept, if you were looking for that, but the discriminant was negative 4, that means that skateboard never touched the ground. That's what that would mean. So then I come back to my problem because I want to know the solutions, like the actual solutions. I know they're going to be imaginary, and I'm going to substitute this number in my quadratic formula. So I'm going to have negative b, which is negative 6, plus or minus, means you do it twice. I know that negative 4 is inside already. I don't have to do it out again. All over 2 times a, which is 2. So I'm going to separate those. X equals negative 6 plus the square root of negative 4 over 4, and then x equals negative 6 minus the square root of negative 4 all over 4. The square root of 4 is 2, and I need that negative, which is an I. We just learned that. So this is going to be negative 6 over 4 plus 2i over 4. The other x is going to be negative 6 minus 2i, both over 4. And you could simplify those fractions. And so my solutions will be these ugly little fraction things. Okay, that's the quadratic formula. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the 3 different types here. So here are more problems to practice. I'm going to do all the odd ones, and then you have to do all the even ones. I'm going to go faster through this because you can always pause the video and come back to it. So I'm going to do negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. I'm going to simplify that. Positive 8 plus or minus 64, the square root of 64 minus 4 times 4 is 16 times 3 is 42 all over 8. So I'm going to get x equals 8 plus the square root of 22 over 8, and x equals 8 minus the square root of 22 over 8. Okay. Just checking myself. All right, I am not going to make you simplify the radicals. Again, we didn't go deep enough into those for me to do that for you. I feel like that would be torturous. All right, so negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. Now I'm going to simplify multiple steps. So I'm going to get x equals negative 12 plus the square root of 144 minus 4 times 9 is 36. 36 times 4 is 144. So 144 minus 144 is 0 over 18. And so we can't plus or minus the square root of 0. It's just 0. So you're going to get x equals negative 12 over 18. And you can easily simplify that to x equals negative 2 over 3. And remember, because that discriminant is 0, you get one solution. And the last one, you're going to have negative b. There is no b. The square root of b squared. Again, there's no b. Negative 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. So I'm going to simplify that to be plus or minus the square root of 4 times 4 is 16. That positive and negative makes that positive. So 16, the square root of 16 is 4. So you're going to have x equals plus or minus 4 over 8. So x equals plus or minus 1/2. You can write this out as two different answers if you like. Okay?